But just to segue off that and talk about how important music was even back then, I was reminded of this because you mentioned the organs in the baseball game. But organs were built into the fucking churches and cathedrals. You know what I mean? You don't think you don't think that there wasn't an importance to organs if they built it into the structure? Like there's obviously power and like some kind of resonance frequency magic into that. You know what I mean?
Well, back then, man, can you imagine having to build that with the resources they had back then? Like, can you imagine
or being like this, like looking at the blueprint and be like, where's the organ going to go? You know what I mean? Like that was like a main piece that you needed in the architecture.
And it's like the organ is going to go into every wall and the ceiling. Like, no,
it's kind of the centerpiece, right? It's kind of the centerpiece of the church.
Yeah, and it's like, why is it that these people who are much less well off than us decided to build these ridiculous cathedrals?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they had the construction technology we did. Well, some people say they had better construction technology than us, so who knows? But my point is that why did they elevate this so much?
Yeah, there was obviously a priority to make.
Like, even now, that's hard to build. You know, organs are complex. They like push air, and it's like 12 zillion trumpets in the wall.
So I could 3D print them nowadays.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
As a musician, how far, like how much more is the quality of music through an organ based onto like a keyboard or anything electronic?
Oh, this is a great question, man. I think a big part of music that we have lost in the 21st century is the idea of pushing air. Does that make sense?
Because everything's electronic.
Yes. And I discovered this recently because I played a bar blues gig, like a 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. sort of thing. You know,
nice.
just going straight up, like, you know, like hardline old school stuff like that, right? That wasn't a clean example. And what I realized is that the amplifier pushes air, like viscerally it vibrates a cone and the cone goes foosh.
But no, that brings more credibility into the first instrument being a flute, because it is an air. It's a wind. It's
pushing air. Yes, even string instruments, when you listen to a violin and you measure it closely, what's happening is it's vibrating and it's pushing air out of these sound holes,
like the harp,
these F holes,
like the big ass harps.
And so nowadays, everything that we play is into an audio interface or it's a virtual instrument. And so I think a lot of musicians now don't experience what it's like to push air live into an audience and have that visceral in the room experience. A lot of us are very disembodied, especially like worship music. Worship music, they hate amps because it's like you're pushing too much air on stage. It's too loud. But it's like that's the point of the experience, largely. And so I think, to your point, the organ pushes air. And if you're ever in a room with an organ, you can feel it. It's not just loud, like it's coming out of a speaker. It like, you can feel something pushing against your chest from the front.
Yeah. It's almost like boss music shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. It's authoritative. You can't talk. You listen to that thing. And I think, you look at, more like EDM festival stuff. I think that's the visceral aspect of those loudspeakers that people enjoy, is it's pushing air. It's pushing air. And it's much different than just playing digitally. It's a different story, right?
Man, so that goes into and kind of gives more credibility into, we spoke to Oriz about the different frequencies that the music industry and started adopting, the 444 to 432.